Je suis fait d'un rien, d'une poussière. Je suis.
All right. It's Sunday night. We're getting a quick little stream in. We'll do this for like an hour or so. I'm just keeping the streaming streak alive. So, yeah, feel free. Drop a track in. You can get some feedback. You can also subscribe to the stream, and you'll get an analog mix when I am back in the studio, which will be tomorrow. But yeah, let's see what happens. It's Sunday. Figuring out the rhythms and the vibes. I hope you are having a good one. Just getting started. It's Sunday. It's Sunday night. The vibes are sleepy. We've had a couple of good streams the last week. Friday was kind of banging, but then my internet stopped working. So, what a bummer. It's a sleepy Sunday. It's the usual a ton of stream. You can send me tracks, we'll take a listen. I'll give you some mastering engineer style feedback on your mix. You can also subscribe and send me stems. And when I'm back in my studio, which will be tomorrow, we can do a cheeky little analog mix. But that's it. We're just kind of doing like open office. No entertainment. No fun. No fun for you. What are you doing, you might ask? And that answer is playing on my phone. It's good to have a little bit of phone time, you know? But if anyone's working on a mix and wants to send it in, the inbox is open. It's a sleepy Sunday stream. I'm a mastering engineer. You can send me tracks by hitting that feedback command. We'll take a listen. I'll tell you what's up with your frequency ranges. And we're just hanging out. It is very chill here, but it's always nice to be streaming. We'll be back in the studio tomorrow. Had a real solid run of streams last week. More streams to come. Anyone working on anything fun? I'm personally building a studio, which has involved hauling like 1,000 pounds of rocks, moving stuff around, blasting an entire basement full of piss to make it less pissy. That's a very important part of audio that many people don't get to personally experience. But that's that's the keen insight from here on the A Ton of Audio stream. And here's that feedback command. I hope everyone's had a nice weekend and that there will be a pleasant week to come. In the future week, the coming days, the next 128 hours. I'm just double. Oh, yeah. OBS levels are clear. They're nice. We're looking good. Killing it. All right, it's Sunday evening. It's nice. It's chill. It's the A Ton of Audio stream. I'm Scott. I'm a mastering engineer. You can feel free to send me tracks. Hit that feedback command. We'll take a listen. See what's up with your frequency response. You can also subscribe to the stream and send me stems and get a nice analog mix. We use the SSL. We use some Neves, some distressors. We'll do the if you so happen to send me stems, we'll do it when I'm back in the studio, which will be tomorrow and all week and forever. I'm taking one day away from the studio. You know, a little mental health break, but not a break from streaming. Always streaming. Da 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 da. Zamrick Win. Thanks for the follow. How are you doing? Excellent. I am also great. Here, I'll hit that feedback command for you, buddy. I need to plug in my laptop. I'll be right back. Basterix, what's up? Feel free to send in a track. Thanks for the follow. I'm keeping an eye on my inbox, seeing what's coming in. I'm even checking the spam. Right on, Samrick. There we go. Ever beside .wave. We're getting this track loaded in. There we go. All right. I like all tracks. They're all equal. Heavy metal, singer-songwriter, trance, big ballroom media. It's all audio. It's all frequencies occurring in time and space. All right, that's a loop. Yeah, this is nice. It's a good track. It's doing the thing. It's definitely doing what it sets out to do. What I would take a look at is it is a bit dull. There's like two things happening simultaneously. It's like it's a little bit dull, but also the hats are a little bit harsh. So it's going to be hard to get like that kind of like top end bump that would, your bass is managed pretty well, like the low end. The kick is great. Like we're starting with a really solid foundation. The bass is good, but I do feel there's a little bit of room to give it like a little bit of harmonic content, so that it goes kind of above the kick a little bit more. It feels like the bass is entirely below the kick, which on the one hand very clean, but also it could kind of pocket the kick a little more. And then the arrangement, the vocals, the synths and everything are a little bit crowded in the like dead center mid-range, 500 to 2K. So we could also start to kind of, I would go and I would probably take like the synths and give them a little bit more at like 2 to 4K. That's also going to help the hat come across as a little bit less harsh, to get some of the like synth and pad work starting to mask the kind of the harsher bits of the hat, which are around like 4.5K. So I wouldn't even like go and say like, hey, EQ your hat a little bit. It's more like I would go and take other things and have them do the masking that the hat requires, because what comes across as a little bit harsh now is actually going to be quite useful when the arrangement comes to meet it. So I'd kind of like to do those few things, and then do a little bit of the smiley face. You've got the lower part of the smiley face dialed. The top end could, the lips could raise. That's good. That's a nice track. Pretty like normal stuff to deal with. Hey, well, congratulations on the sign and release. I think it's always notable for next time, Bastrix, I do have your track. We'll be listening to in one moment. Though I would say that I think that like, mastering is like way less about processing and more about analyzing. When I do like I have a college lecture that I do, and I always open it with the most important tool in mastering is an email. And if that's not your approach, then I think that it's a little, But that's so yeah. Mastering is in and of itself relatively simple. It's all solved with like a little like, hey, you should probably address this in the mix. And then the actual processing itself is incredibly minimal. If everything's been, if everything has gone relatively well, always keep it simple. All right, Bastrix, let's take a listen. Connected Beats, what's up? Thank you for the follow. Hop on into that Discord. And I'm going to go ahead and hit that feedback command. All right, Get Bread, Master 2.
Too live in the rave is packed. My bro got runs to the pack. Two bad bees in the back of the wag. They wanna give tops, I'll just sit back. So they wanna get down with the gang. Wait, what? Tell them relax. Got from the place, my ears all fuck. Cause the bass too ram and the speakers jack. One night that thing, I wanna make friends. Shit, man, I guess it depends. You wanna jump in, get 10 in the Benz. I was kinda one of my finish select. Collecting bands, ain't trying to do rest. Two shots to the yak, West Gates to the head. I'm not on my life in a mess. I gotta get this bread. Bass. One night that team, now she wanna beg friends. Shit, then I guess it depends. You wanna jump in, get 10 in the Benz. I was kinda one of my finish select. Collecting bands, ain't trying to do rest. Two shots to the yak, went straight to the head. My mum don't know my life in a mess. I gotta go hard, gotta get this bread. Too live in the rave is packed. Back of the wag. So they wanna get down with the gang. 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 Too live in the rave is packed. Gang. So they wanna get down with the gang. Gang. Too live in the rave is packed. Gang. I'm not on my life in a mess. I gotta go, I gotta get this bread. Bass. Is packed. My bro got runs to the pack. Two bad bees in the back of the wag. They wanna give tops, I'll just sit back. So they wanna get down with the gang. Wait, what? Tell them relax. Got from the place, my ears all fuck. Cause the bass too ram and the speakers jack. One night that team, now she wanna beg friends. Shit, then I guess it depends. You wanna jump in, get 10 in the Benz. I was kinda one of my finish select. Collecting bands, ain't trying to do rest. Two shots to the yak, went straight to the head. My mum don't know my life in a mess. I gotta go hard, gotta get this bread. Yeah.
Okay, I have a lot of thoughts here. But let's kind of I want to get on the totally same page. What all are you doing on this track? Yeah, EDM's cool. You can send me more stuff. So are you producing? Are you doing the vocals? What all is your role here? So while you're saying that, I think this is a really good song. Production only. All right. Are you working with the vocalist, or is this like a splice thing? Are you is this an acapella? Is this samples? How much of a I guess I'm asking how much of a thing is this? Sample from a pack. Okay. So that kind of impacts how I would think about this, because it's more so this rules. First off, I think you've done an overall really nice job, but when you're just kind of sampling and stuff and not directly working with an artist, then I kind of think of them as more we're trying to get things out the door and you're maybe practicing a little bit. So that changes it a little bit, but all in all, I think you've crafted something that is very fun to listen to. Yeah, samples are well selected. The arrangement is great. I feel like that's working in your favor, and that's one of the most important things in production is just is the arrangement good? Is the song good? And you're nailing that. The mix, there are, I think, some missed opportunities, and then also some technical things that are just not quite dialed in. So just as far as the raw technicals, this is a little bit muddy, which also could be suffering from ozone-itis. If you're using the what is it, tonal balance plugin, the ozone tonal balance is notoriously trend. It gives you pretty muddy targets. I think it's one of the worst in the in the like basically I think that like all analyzers are pretty equal, but the ozone tonal balance is terrible. Like I think that they just like missed it. That's a miss, swing and a miss from ozone. Oh, okay. You use the automatic mastering, 30%. Yeah. Send me the non-ozone. I do feel like it probably just made it worse because it's also like that's like such a. But I'm not like I'm very supportive of what you're doing, and I just kind of I'm memeing a little bit. But like the idea of like I'm all this master. I'm doing a 30% master on it. It's just very. It's very silly, especially like. But that's also. But, it's said with love because I think that everyone starts with ozone at some point, I think that, like, I had a cracked edition of ozone, like, 12 years ago, and, whomst among us hasn't. But eventually you find that just with, like, oh, for sure. No one does. No one has mastering experience. And that's very normal. But what I'll say is that like ozone kind of like promises a lot, but then eventually it's like a stock compressor and a stock EQ. You're going to be able to do more like solid work than ozone. That would be it, which kind of goes like, my recommended mixing tools, so like my recommendation is to just kind of like maintain like a consistency of tools, and I don't really care what it is. Like maybe I'm dogging on ozone a little bit, but that said, like I think that you can, if you're like an ozone wizard and you know it inside and out, and you kind of know its blind spots and its weak spots, you can get great results out of ozone if you know it like the back of your hand. So I think that it's kind of like that's the most important thing, like a degree of consistency and like pretty thorough knowledge. And that said, what do I use? I mean, it's like I use the UAD stuff because I've had it for a decade. And they like switched it from the card and all that, and I still use my UAD card. Like I'll never give it up. Like I just like it. And then the Kush stuff, and I think that's like most of the plugins that I use these days. I put a Pultec on everything, and the Tokyo Dawn records, the TDR stuff. That's like kind of my sauce, and it's free. I love the TDR Nova. That's my my Desert Island plugin. All right, we'll take a listen to that pre-master. Yeah, Kush rules. Okay. So that said, I'll take a listen to this pre-master, and we'll see how much ozone is making it muddy. But your mix is definitely a little bit muddy. Everything's kind of crowded up to like 300 hertz. And vocals sound great. But when the vocals aren't in, there's like nothing exciting happening in the mid-range. Bass is cool, kick is cool, snare's a little bit weak. But that's all just things that exist kind of above 500 hertz. So, familiarize yourself with the glory that is frequencies above 500. And so, like, on a technical level, everything is just, like, very cramped, down low. And then as far as production and missed opportunities, I think that there's just, like, there's a lot of wiggle room here, and this is where it's like, if this isn't a client thing, it's like you could just be like, it's pretty good, but it's like I would go and experiment with like just like little simple cliche things like delay throws on the vocal, especially because this has like kind of a UK garage thing going. But I would start by just setting up a delay throw line and automating it. And then that's to say that going through the song and finding, I like to set up like a game for myself when I'm doing like final passes on the aesthetics on a mix, where depending on the feel of the tune, it's like, Wayso Music, thank you for the follow. So my little game for myself is that like I'll pick like a semi-arbitrary like number of bars, 4 bars, 8 bars, 16 bars, 2 bars, 1 bar, whatever, and make kind of a challenge for myself. I like to gamify things like this, where I'll go, okay, every 4 bars in the mix, something needs to change. All right, every 2 bars, something needs to happen, something needs to change. Because, it's like I feel like, especially on like what you've got here, is you have like a pretty good, you have a pretty good static mix, but it does not feel alive. All right. So like going through and kind of like taking that approach, like every 4 bars, something has to change. This is where automation rules. I mean, it's something like, it could just be as simple. You can start with volume, like ride the vocals a little bit, ride the bass, bass, again, we've got like some classic cliches that are like, they're great for a reason. It's like bass down a little bit on the verse, bass up a little bit on the chorus, give it a little bit of kick, give it a little bit of lift. So volume things, but then you can get like very quickly into more subtle things, like a like slight moving EQ up in the upper mid range, where things like duck and play against each other, and then they're just subtly moving every 4 bars, and you're just looking for things, and then like delay throws, reverb throws, all of that. You're just looking to make it so that the song is very subtly and constantly shifting to create a dynamic listening experience for the, for whoever's listening to it. A dynamic listening for listening, and that's just and that's like really gonna like level your stuff up, because I feel like it was good. Exactly. Yep. That is something that everyone, and it is like very subconscious. And I think that like what you have here, it's very good. It's just very static. And it's really again, on the technical level, bit muddy. Be a little bit less scared of those higher frequencies. But then on an artistic level, I think that you have like a very nice arrangement. You've clearly got a good ear. You've got a knack for it. But now it's like, now it's that next level thing. Wayso. Thanks, bud. Nice to have you here. Yeah, we're doing a chill home office stream today. I'll be back in the studio Monday through probably Friday, if not more. So we're just listening to some tunes. All right, let me check. Let's see what's going on in my inbox. Okay, we'll take a listen to Wayso and then kind of circle back to folks that have already sent in stuff. Okay. So first off, it's great to have you here. Yeah, Zamrick's advice of referencing, very solid. Reference. So here's the thing. You're clearly a great musician. All right? Like it's very clear. Like the guitar playing is excellent. Your sound selections, your tone work, like throughout the entire thing, you've selected a great kick, you've selected a great snare. Your tone work is all on point. The horns are high quality. The arrangement is excellent. The music is great. The rhythm is really good. Like all the melodies are good. The harmonies are good. All of the things that are music is excellent here. So you're a great musician. The mix, know thyself is like super important. the mix is not good. Like that's it's like totally. It's just like everything is clipping, but here's the thing: it's a testament to like your excellent musicianship that because your sound selection and like the core music of it, because it's like high quality and well performed, it makes it listenable throughout the entire thing. But it's like we got to start way at the beginning in just that everything is clipping for no reason, so it's just like it has to start with like absolutely like gain staging into all your plugins. It's just like things are clipping that like I'm kind of impressed that they are. It's like it's kind of at this point hard. So like okay, yeah, 15-second ad. Okay, you're back. That's not me hitting those. Sorry. I'm trying to keep this ad free. They're inserting commerce into my free audio advice stream. Okay, so we got like tons of clipping everywhere. So you just need to go and like find what is clipping. Like, are you clipping the like master out? Are you clipping plugins? You just got to go find those red lights and get rid of those red lights. We got a lot of red lights happening. And then that's it. That's like kind of like the master preset. Yeah. Let's get away from those presets. I feel like let's I'm not in the so this is like first off, it's your first time here. I'm in the office, not my studio. So I think sometime we should set up like a studio stream and I can do some more like hands-on like demos and examples of what I would do with your track. Because we could, I can talk at length about what to do, but sometimes like showing is much better than telling. So I can do like some screen shares. We can go through some stuff because I think that like the mix is by far the the bottleneck here, but it's also not that far off because sick. Yeah, if you subscribe, and this is the perfect segue, I do have for subscribers at tier 1, you can send me stems and I will do a mix down live on stream through my ridiculous analog mixing setup. Okay, nice. Yeah. Send that unmastered version sometime for sure. But the spiel I'm selling. So, tier 1 subs, I have like SSL desk, Neve EQs, the empirical distressor, the whole 9 yards. Oh, that's cool. I wouldn't really be able to do anything with it when I'm not in the studio anyway, so it's like all good. We're tabling it. I stream pretty consistently now. For subscribers, folks can send me stems, and I work with it on the desk, and it's for the low price of a Twitch Prime or $6 or whatever it is that subs cost these days, or like $5.50 if you do it from Twitch and not the App Store, or whatever. At tier 1, you can send me a song. I mix it live on stream. We get some content. We have a good time, and I send you a mix down. The disclaimer there is that that's the mix that you get, no revisions. It separates it from my client work, and it's fun. And if it's if I knock it out of the park and you love it, you're free to use it, and you can credit yet another a ton of mix. At tier 2, you can send me stems, and I will send you the track outs from my board. So you have individual stuff to play with, and you can kind of like fiddle with it to your heart's content. Great. Okay, that's the spiel. I do encourage people to subscribe to the stream. But yeah, Weso, love your stuff. We're gonna dial it in, and yeah, just we'll catch each other throughout the week, and we'll figure out everything that needs to happen. But that said, I think you're very close. I think you're closer than you feel you are to the mix. And the thing is that we're gonna get like, first up, we just got to clear this, like, hell yeah way. So we'll see you in the studio, in the dojo. I think that we just got to clear this, like, base level, like, technical, and then we're gonna, like, these technical things you got to get, you know, just under your hand, and I think you're very close to it. But then you're going to be able to apply your musician brain into the next level of mixing, which is like the more musical, nuanced, dynamic mixing that is just going to, once you clear away this initial, like, you know, the trepidations around it, I think you're just going to fly with it. So that will be super cool. All right, let's see what's in my inbox. All right, let's do another Zamric track. Go back again. Extended mix.
Let's go back again.
Connected. I'm not sure if I got. Did you just send me a BandLab link in the subject line? Was that you? Nice.
Let's go back again. again.
Leandro, thank you for the follow.
Let's go back again. Let's go back again.
Okay, banger tune. I feel like there's a lot of like ear candy baked in, a lot of nice stereo stuff. The arrangement's good. It goes bang, bang, bang through the entire time, but there's a lot to grab onto. Yeah, I feel like, lots to love. A lot like the other track you sent in, I want that lift up at the top end, especially like you're doing electronic music. Got that big kick. Got to finish you're committing to smiley face, but you're only half committing. All right, we got huge low end energy, and there's just no count. And I kind of think of it as like, there's a lot of ways to go about it, but it's basically like I want something to kind of counter the low end in anything that I'm doing. When I'm doing like a rock record, there's going to be like a healthy amount of energy from like 60 to 120. And on a rock record, I'm going to make the decision, like, do I want the counterbalance to be like 500 to 1K or 1K to 2K? And on electronic, it's like, again, big low end energy, like 30 to 60. But then I want that counterbalance, and 9 times out of 10, I want that counterbalance to be like in the 10K to 20K region. Very rarely on electronic am I like, yeah, the bump is at 2K. It's crazy. It's scoopy. It's time to scoop. Nice. Leandro, it is nice to meet you, but you have sent a 25-year-old Brazilian folk song, I think, that I very, very sincerely doubt you're looking for mixed feedback on. So, perhaps next time. All right, Connected. Let's give this a listen. Nice.
Code accepted. User entry permitted.
Okay. I love this. This is such a cool track. Great vibe, really unique. And it's a great mix, all right, in a lot of ways. Great stereo definition. But I very rarely pause things. The thing is that it is pretty. There's something is clipping in an incredibly uncomfortable way. And I wish it wasn't. And it could be like the streaming codec, but you got to go through and identify this clipping. It's like low end clipping, and you might be hitting your limiter too hard, which, there's kind of no good reason to do that in this day and age, and it is just killing the vibe. And so identify the clipping, make it not happen, because this is a tune. This is quite nice. Get that out of the way, and we are good to go. Cozy Monsters, thank you for the follow. Great handle.
Anomaly detected. User entry permitted. Alternate universe located. Scanning.
Life forms detected.
Scanning.
Cool. Yeah. You can send the right one if you want. Great track. It just borders on completely unlistenable for basically no good reason. Clean it up and it's good to go. Because it's excellent. It's just, yeah, perfect. Get rid of the clipping and you're good to go. It's probably some sort of like in pursuit of luffs, in pursuit of loudness type thing that's going. And then my recommendation is just don't do that. Just pull back a little bit and this thing is good to go. Speakers are the volume. You know, the sound system is where you're going to get that loudness, and the speakers will actually be able to be louder if it doesn't do that. It's a fun little physics problem. Cone needs to go out and in. Nice. All right, it's the Attentive Stream. You can hit the feedback command to send in a track. I'm going to check my inbox, see what's in there. Cool, you sent the right one. Yeah, nice. We'll listen to the pre-master from Basstrix and then Connected's track. And, okay, get bread. Let's give this a listen. Anyone can send something in, and also when I'm in the studio, subscribers can send me stems, and we'll do a little hands-on mixing sesh live on stream. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow.
The pack, two bad bees at the back of the wag. They wanna give tops, I'll just sit back. So they wanna get down with the gang. Wait, what? Tell them relax. Can't find a place in my ears, or fuck, could the bass too ram and the speakers jack. One night that thing, I'm trying to make friends. Shit, man, I guess it depends. You wanna jump in, get 10 in the bends. I wish kinda one of my finish select. Collecting bands, ain't trying to do rest. Two shots to the yak, West Coast to the head. I run the game, my life in a mess. I gotta go, I gotta get this bread.
Bass.
Too live in the rave is packed. My bro got runs to the pack. Two bad bees at the back of the wag. They wanna give tops, I'll just sit back. So they wanna get down with the gang. Wait, what? Tell them relax. Can't find a place in my ears, or fuck, could the bass too ram and the speakers jack. One night that thing, I'm trying to make friends. Shit, man, I guess it depends. You wanna jump in, get 10 in the bends. I wish kinda one of my finish select.
Bass.
Oh yeah, it sounds better without ozone on it. So same things apply. You know, it still needs to be less muddy on the mix. You know, you're like really crowding like below 200, and you just gotta. It's kind of like, you can think of it as like a beautiful puzzle. You know, you just gotta find what is, and this is why like a master EQ curve doesn't work as well as going into the mix, because it's like I could pop an EQ on this and go like less of everything below 200 and more of everything above 200, which is kind of like the ozone thing. And I don't know. I kind of like, at this point, it's like I prefer explaining mixing this way, because I think that in the like the YouTubeification of like top 10 mixing tricks to make your mix fucking super slappy, banana peel emoji or whatever, it's like, take the Splonger 5000 and run that on your vocal chain into an 1192 compressor into the Maximizer 5500 at this setting with this threshold and these attack times and everything. And it's like everything, and even like sometimes I'll watch like a pretty like solid like, in-depth tutorial from a mixer that I respect, but it's more like it's the culture of everything. And also everyone's trying to sell something all the time, this was sponsored by Waves, like this tutorial video brought to you by Waves, for a real game changer. So everything that you're going to learn is really, really, really like process focused. Like, oh, you do this in order for it to be good. You know, do this, get this plugin, do this thing with an EQ. Because I guess it's also like, because even when it's like company agnostic, you know, like an EQ, do this. What's being sold is the YouTube page of whoever's telling you that like the secret to a great mix is always cutting 3.5K on a vocal. You know, like, comment, and subscribe to Mixmaster 10,000, where you can learn more tricks and the process. You know, my process is what's for sale here. You know, that's what the attention is. This one frequency is ruining your mix, you know? And so, like, that's to say that it's like that's the water that everyone's swimming in. And it's also kind of like why I think that, and it's everyone. It's everyone. It's like top down, which is why I think that mixes are kind of like more like boring, like as of the last 10 years. I think it's the YouTubeification, which is also, it's not like a total dig, because it's also awesome that there's like a, you know, I love the free exchange of information, early internet kind of philosophies. But that said, it's important to note that we no longer live in a free internet, that it is very heavily monetized and commercialized, and there is always, you know, there's no free lunch when we're watching these YouTube tutorials on mixing. But anyway, that's a diatribe, but it's also just like, I don't know, it's what I hear. I listen to mixes all day, every day. So that said, what I want you to do, I don't want you to get a plugin. I don't want you to use a plugin in a specific way. I want you to be thinking about why you're doing things throughout the mix and not what you're doing. And what I would start with on just like this bass, like, you know, we have frequencies from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That's basically our confine, our palette of what we're working with. And they're happening in space and time. You know, they're happening throughout the mix, and they're happening at different volumes. That's it. That's mixing. And what you got to do is you have to think of it as this beautiful puzzle where at every moment, like from the first millisecond of the song into the second millisecond, into the third millisecond, into the 100th millisecond, we need to have this beautiful painting of frequencies occupying their space in the mix. And you have to be thinking about, or you don't have to, but how I like to think. And this is what really has kind of changed my perspective personally, is that I think that a lot of the first little bits of mixing and the first, 10 years of a mixing career is really spent on identifying ugly frequencies and getting rid of them. Like, oh, I'm going through and to a degree this has to be done. Everything has to be done. But sometimes it's like the conversation like starts and ends at like, oh, you got to go find these terrible frequencies in your mix. You have to clean these tracks. And there's like a few things there. One, sometimes if you have like kind of like a confirmation bias of like, oh, 2.5K, that's a bad frequency, and then you go and you find it and you do the EQ sweep and you like boost the resonance and you go, oh yeah, 2.5K does sound really bad on this track. I'm going to get rid of it. And the thing is that like the resonance hunting, the resonance boosting, it's like, I mean, 2.5K boosted with the narrow bell filter, sounds terrible in isolation, no matter what the source is and no matter what it was. 325 hertz, like boosted with a high resonance filter in any situation, sounds pretty bad, no matter what it is. So when you go searching through the mix to find these bad narrow frequencies, they're all gonna fucking sound bad. That's the thing. So then you go and you cut and you cut and you cut, and then you've got this lifeless mix where everything is all hollowed out, and then you also are probably introducing phase problems that whatever. That's like a whole other conversation. But it sounds like lifeless. It sounds small. The very spirit has been sucked out of every single. Yes. So the thing is frequency hunting. That's great. So you've gone beyond frequency hunting, because the thing is that yes, sometimes something will be overly resonant in the mix, or it'll be ugly or whatever. But if you only hear it in isolation and not in the context of the entire mix, then it's not actually a problem. Like, everything is contextually tied to everything else. So you can't think of things in isolation in the mix. But then that said, that's like the entire philosophy of we have to find the problems and find what's ugly in the mix. But what I like to think about is what is beautiful and what is good in the mix. And this is a little bit Bob Ross, but also I think it's completely and totally true, because it changes how you mix. And it changes your outcomes, and it changes how you feel about your mix and how long you can mix. Because the thing is that I can do this all day with this approach, because I'm not pulling my hair out going I have to find this terrible thing. I'm constantly in a state of oh, okay, I need to find what is amazing about this kick drum? What is amazing about this vocal? And the more that you're thinking in those ways, and then and it's not just hippie stuff where I'm oh, what's beautiful? It's I'm also applying it technically, because I have this canvas from 20 to 20K. And at every single moment, I need to go okay, what is beautiful? What is important? What is good at 500 hertz? What in the mix? Is it the snare? Is it the vocal? Is it these synths? Is it this reverb? I have all of these options. I have all of these moments. And at bar 16, what is wonderful at 500 hertz? And I'm going to make sure that, that's the star of the show at 500 hertz. If it's the vocal, that means that, gets a little love at 500, and then is there so then when I'm cutting something else in contrast to that, it's so that the vocal can take the be the star of the show. What's beautiful at 1.5K? Is it the snare? Is it these synths? Is it a guitar? Is it a bongo? Same thing. I want what sounds great at 1.5K to be the star of 1.5K. And that's where we can get into automation. That's how we can get into how things relate to each other in the mix. And then that said, we've got all of these individual elements, and then they're also creating a full mix in which all of these frequencies are represented and accounted for from 20 to 20K. Exactly. Yeah, moving beyond process. I think that's just it's super fun. And if nothing else, it makes you lock in better. If you're having a better time mixing, I think that, regardless of if you're having a better time and you're spending more time and you're spending better time, not just kind of throwing things out at random. You have a kind of a solid roadmap of where to go, and you're having a good time doing it, I think your mixes are better. Hell yeah. Audio is good. Okay, let's listen to another connected track. Answer, version 4. Marvelous. A couple of the low end hits were a little bit hairy. This is definitely cleaner than the other one that you sent, so I love that. I love hearing something a little more dialed in. Just like this would be like, I think, okay, but just a couple hits like verged on that clippy hairy, and I would, personally, get that like locked in. There's a few times that some like upper mid-range synths and one hits are a tiny bit harsh on entrance. So I would go into like synths and basically take like a dynamic EQ and just have like a very subtle like 1.5 dB like compression from like 1 to 3K. I would kind of like if you're working with buses and you happen to have like a synth bus, that's where I would do it. I love working with buses, but I would just kind of go through, and it's like all of the shiny like little like top end melodic synths. They just come in a little bit harsh. So I would just dynamic squeeze it a little bit and call it a day. All right. I feel like that is a really nice Sunday stream from the office. I'm going to be back in the studio. It was really awesome. This was like entirely new folks on this stream today. So I always love that. There's a really solid group of regulars, but whenever we have a newbie stream, it fills me with joy. So join the Discord. Always nice to have folks there. You can keep up with the streams there, and also just, put the notifications on, because I stream whenever I can outside of doing studio work. So it is not a defined schedule. But folks, I will see you on the next one, live from the studio on the next A Ton of stream.